Hello.
Hello.
We're late.
Just by a little bit.
Just by a little bit. I need to turn my Discord notifications off.
Oh no.
Oh man, that's a good way to start everything. Absolutely.
Perfect. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. I'm the greatest.
I just
Okay.
realized that my mic might be picking up my phone, but it's not, so we're good.
I was listening to TikToks earlier, and it's like, as soon as I called you, I'm like, pause, pause.
So I, in my grand old TikTok days, I posted a video that got me an unfortunate amount of attention. But the first sentence of that video was, have you ever just woken up in the morning and been like, I would fuck me? And some child had
No,
their volume on their phone all the way up in the middle of class
no,
and opened TikTok.
don't do it. No, that's such a bad idea.
This, kids, is why you don't get on TikTok during school.
Never. Oh my god, I would be so embarrassed. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
That's not.
It's not. It's not. That was a side venture, a side quest, if you will.
Bonus points.
Bonus points. You learned something about Fox today. Bonus points. Today we're talking about cosplay is not consent. It's been something that's been around since 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. I have an article up, as you can see. The article is up. It will tell me exactly when, but I am going to, I'm going to guess anyway.
It was the signs really started showing up in 2012, and then New York Comic Con in 2014 was the first like large one to post that phrase like in their cons. It was around before that. But it's become like a major thing.
Are you a connoisseur?
Me?
A connoisseur of cosplay is not consent? And you didn't tell me? You know the finest wine of cosplay is not consent, and you didn't tell me?
I have titties and I go to cons.
Well,
It's
so
almost
do
required.
I! Contrary to popular belief, I actually do have titties. And I also go to cons. And yet,
Are you the mom of the here's the difference. I'm the mom of the group.
oh yeah, that is the difference. I am definitely not the mom. I am the spicy aunt.
I'm like shepherding all of these poor like drunk souls through the convention.
I am that poor drunk soul. And this is where we differ.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, alright, we're gonna get into this. Costumes are not consent, or cosplay is not consent, is a catchphrase that has become widespread following online discussions about mostly female or female presenting cosplayers getting sexually harassed at conventions. It serves as a reminder to fans that cosplayers are human and should be treated as such. It is also expressed support expressoed support for fans who are harassed, acknowledging the behavior as inappropriate, and giving cosplayers a voice to speak out in opposition to it. Cosplay is not consent started appearing on signs posted at some cons in 2012, New York Comic Con in 2014.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because you're right.
I helped you do the research for this.
You have a memory and I don't. That's what I'm salty about.
I just spent 12 hours on a wig. I shouldn't know this.
Was the first major con to post the phrase publicly, along with a clearly stated anti-harassment policy, which we are going to actually do a video on, about the rules and regulations and what you should do and look out for with cosplay, and just, people in general at cons.
Just a little bit to help you keep yourself safe.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And that's going to be coming out this week, too. But no. So, where was I? With a clearly stated anti-harassment policy, after 2013 witnessed several major incidents, 20 reported instances of sexual harassment. Read POP shared in 2014, the first year the signs went up, there were 8 reported instances, and that rate has stayed about steady at around 12 reported instances a year, despite the significant growth of New York Comic Con. Fans also report feeling safer on the floor, as well as feeling respected by the organization. Da-da-da-da-da.
So, this is a thing that's gonna pop up later. The just having a cosplay is not consent sign doesn't really do anything. You need an anti-harassment policy, and you need your cons to follow through with that, because it's like it's the equivalent of sticking a bumper sticker on your car that says "Don't speed."
Yeah. I really do appreciate it whenever con staff actually listens, because I've had a moment where someone had been harassed in a way that would not, I'm just going to say it, sexually harassed. And she came to me, and I took her to con staff. And she explained the whole story. She was in tears. And I was sitting there as the temporary mom friend, because I will be the mom friend if needed.
Emergency mom friend.
Emergency mom friend. And I was there helping her, and they did absolutely nothing about it. Zero about it. They were like, well,
phenomenal.
Yeah. They were like, well, we can try to tell him to stay away from you, but that's about all we can do. And I'm like, what do you mean that's all you can do? I was livid. I was livid. And luckily that con doesn't exist anymore, but it was just bad news bears all around. The fact that was nothing was done made the girl feel helpless and scared. Because now she's brought attention to it, and
nobody
did anything.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I hated every moment of it. I had the notion to go up to the guy myself, but I was talked out of it.
Listen, if you get involved with something, someone else gets involved with that same thing, and we don't want that.
I will get involved, and I will rain fury of the gods upon you.
No, I don't know. I've noticed that most cons have been fairly good about it, to a little extra good about it, which is refreshing, right? And it shouldn't matter like who's being harassed or where they're being harassed. Like you just shouldn't do it, right?
It's just not something that we can tolerate.
Right. And like no situation makes it okay. But especially like when you're looking at cosplayers, they look like characters, and people have this attachment to them that separates them from the person in the costume.
Yeah.
And it's the same with a lot of like YouTubers and like Instagram people and all
with
this,
the parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it separates this idea, right? From like the actual person behind it. Like you have to remember that that's a person just like you or I, right? Like that's a whole ass human being.
Yeah, a whole ass human being who is not that character, who has thoughts and feelings and opinions of their own and would like to be respected. Obviously, if you have a skimpier outfit on, right? Which I'm not saying that people with modest outfits have it any, like, less, because it happens to them too.
Listen, Holo is probably one of the, like, most well-covered like outfits I have, right?
Right.
And I get the most weird stares and like people trying to be a little too touchy-feely of any of the characters that I cosplay.
Yeah. I've had it the other way around though. Um, Whenever I'm cosplaying with a more modest outfit, which is dumb in the first place. Um,
Really?
it's dumb that it has to happen that way. Um, I'm usually left a little more alone. But whenever I dressed up as like the Cheshire Cat, right?
Yeah.
I was like I've shown you pictures. I was in like a skimpy um bathing suit top and tulle with high heels. And the amount of people that wanted to like be near me or touch me
It's
was
excessive.
it's excessive. And there was like this visceral reaction from me where I just tense up and I'm like, get away from me, do not touch me. um
Like the fact that you can see that I actually do own a skin suit
yeah.
does not mean that you have a right to touch the skin suit.
Yes.
Thanks.
And again, not to say that, more modest cosplays don't get it too, because they do, and I've seen it.
Like I said with Holo, like
Yeah.
I understand that in the base material, she's less than clothed an excessive amount of the time. But still, like that doesn't matter. It
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't matter whether I'm wearing, 5 pounds of denim or
All I
a
can
half
think of, no, all I can think of is that guy from My Hero.
Dude, okay. Yeah, it's a circle skirt. It's a full circle skirt
Yeah.
of denim and
Just denim.
just denim. And then I added faux fur to that. You know, it's a lot of fabric, but it shouldn't matter whether I'm wearing point 0.5 or 5 pounds of cloth on my
Yeah.
body,
Yeah.
right? It should not matter.
Yeah, and this goes for men and men presenting people as well. Because I can, like, especially around, like, the free era,
Yeah.
um,
Free is its own problem, but that's a talk for
that's,
another time.
well, free cosplayers.
Yeah.
They also got a lot of attention, and they also got a lot of, like, girls and guys, like, coming up to them. I've seen it happen, like, coming up to them and being, like, really close, and the cosplayer being obviously, like, uncomfy. It's a ridiculous amount of times, and it's gotten better with anti-harassment policies. I know that some of the cons that we go to are really, really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't stop it from happening from time to time.
I was running around with a JoJo cosplayer, and like the amount of people that were trying to be up on them
Is excessive and concerning.
And you have to remember that not only are these not only is there a person inside that costume, but also like a lot of people just don't like to be touched.
So there is, what I have up on the screen right now is a interview. There we go. An interview with a cosplay deviant. Basically, cosplay deviants are is an NSFW group of cosplayers that do NSFW things. At the base, at the core, that's what they are. I have had my run-ins with them. I have had my time with them. I really enjoy them, and I think that they're amazing people. And I actually thought about being a cosplay deviant for a while. I thought it would be cool. But ultimately I didn't. Yeah, but ultimately I didn't. Because it requires travel a lot, and I don't have the funds nor the time to be able to travel a lot, so I couldn't do it. But cos what the heck? Okay, moving on. Hopefully my mic didn't pick that up.
There was like a static blip.
No, that was cans shuffling.
Okay.
Yeah. Apparently one of my cats got into the can bag, which is great. We're
Perfect.
trying to recycle.
The cats?
No. We are trying to recycle. The cats just like to screw everything up. Anyway, Cosplay Deviants, very beautiful bunch. Very kind. And I believe that they were one of the first to kind of start the movement. If I remember correctly. If I'm remembering correctly, if I'm incorrect.
They had the phrase cosplay is not consent copyrighted for a large period of time.
I wonder why they copyrighted it.
They recently let go of the copyright to it.
Well, at least there's that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they copyrighted it in the first place. That seems counterproductive, you know.
A little.
But yeah.
But yeah, the thing about it is that they cosplay characters that are NSFW. They do NSFW things with cosplay. And the fact is that they get a lot of people like this. The internet is a ruthless place. This is from Vivid Vivica of Cosplay Deviants. The internet is a ruthless place, though. A photo gets posted and everyone has an opinion that must be shared. If I had a nickel for every time I was called horseface, the T-slur, fat, ugly, I could buy the damn internet. Online harassment is a constant flow and it's downright nasty. In person, it's a different story. People who would ask for a photo and jokingly grab my butt. Lewd, tactless, raunchy things would be said or asked of me and followed by a just kidding, unless you will. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how they're overstepping their grounds and they don't realize how hurtful, scary, and gross they're being. They see this character that they also know and love, and I feel like they forget there's a person inside the costume. Cosplay is not consent. Just because I'm dressed up doesn't mean I aim to serve your fantasies.
Yeah.
At every convention I go to, there are a handful of horror stories, both to me and that happen to my friends. The worst is when the harassee doesn't speak up about it. As I said, I feel like the majority of people don't realize what they're doing is bad. And if we don't speak up and tell them, then how will they know? I can't believe the change I've seen from when I was more shy and wouldn't want to stand up for myself versus now. I'm much more mouthy and can aggressively say no.
And unfortunately, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to be like absolutely the fuck not.
Or else they don't get
like,
it.
Make a scene. Like honestly, make a scene.
Like I've done it before. I was at this rave, right? And this is when me and Z started to date, and I was like, no, I've got this. Promise. There was this guy that was trying to dance with me, and he'd come up to my back and, you know, be unfortunate. And would you like to know what I did?
What did you do?
Very proud of doing this. I very nicely, like, backed him up, pushed him away, and said no at first, right?
You try the polite once.
Giving him a chance. He comes back up and does it again. I take my elbow and I slam it into his diaphragm.
Perfect.
And I say, no, get away from me. He backed off. And I didn't want to resort to physical aggression, but
like if someone's being some kind of way, like you might think it's embarrassing to like stand up and be like loud about it and whatever, but I can guarantee you the person who's doing that to you is going to be more embarrassed because they're trying to get away with something. And if you call them out, everyone else who has a fucking conscience in the crowd will be like, "You did what?"
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, like, you're allowed to defend yourself. Especially if they're being physical with you, you're allowed to defend yourself. And defend your space. Not by any means necessary. Well, it depends on how bad it is, in my opinion. But it's like, that might just be me projecting. But if they're aggressive with you in what they're trying to do, then isn't it just natural to be aggressive back? To say no?
Or if they're willing to do it to you, they're willing to do it to somebody else.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but predators usually prey on people who they don't think will speak up.
Yeah.
So be that person.
Until you get caught.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So be that person. Be that person who speaks up. Be that person who says, fuck off. Get away from me, you creep.
Also, if you don't want to have to say anything, just wear a costume that contains a hoop skirt.
Must stay at least 2 feet away from you.
Yeah, like Titania has a hoop skirt.
I wanted to hug you so bad.
What?
I wanted to hug you so bad, but I couldn't get near you enough.
There's just no way. It's so big, right? Like, the bottom of that thing is so large. And, like, people will see your costume and they'll part the ocean for you.
Yeah, they will.
They'll be like, oh my god.
I am also sorry for stepping on your dress.
Oh, listen, you did it. My brother did it. Rock did it. Everybody who I feel like everybody who was in our group of people at Momo stepped on that dress, and everybody when we were here and went to that small con stepped on the dress.
Oops.
Like, and some people did it more than once, so you're running a pretty good track record there.
Yeah.
I've stepped on the dress more times than everybody else combined.
So, cool thing is we have CSSN, the Cosplayer Survivor Support Network. Their mission is an inclusive page for members of the cosplay community who are survivors of harassment, trauma, sexual assault, or abuse to find support and comfort. They have links and information if you're in need of help with resources. How you can help, convention report cards so that you can report a convention for being good or bad on the scale of whether or not they have a good anti-harassment policy. And the laws in your state, for relevant statutes, and things that you can do, especially if you're in an out-of-state con. Go ahead.
And especially if you're, I'm just sort of not like cisgendered person, there are still a lot of states that have panic laws.
Yeah.
And you need to be aware of those, unfortunately.
Yeah. What is a panic law? I have never heard.
It's like, yeah, gay or trans panic. It's where someone, says that, like, they panicked and hurt someone because they found out they were, like, trans or something like that.
Oh. Legal strategy that asks the jury to find that a victim's sexual orientation or gender identity expression is to blame for a defendant's violent reaction, including murder.
Yep.
Whoa, I learned something new today.
Yes, so do check your laws. I believe there are still panic laws in our state.
I should hope so. Or else we are regressing as a society.
No, panic laws, like, they allow for that defense. I'm saying our state still allows it.
What?
You had higher hopes for this place than you should have.
I did. We are regressing as a society. Anyway, For the little bit of hope that we have with CSSN, we also have education articles, which are essays about issues of consent, culture, cosplay, and things like that. Conversation starters, how to start or finish tough conversations, terms used in relevant communities, convention programming, panels on consent, trauma, and cosplay culture. And they believe that cosplay is not consent is not enough. And while cosplay is not consent is a good starting point, I feel like we can continue from.
Yeah, I think it's a good banner to rally under,
Yes.
but you need to take that one step further.
You have to put
You
action
need
behind it.
Right, and it needs to extend to like online spaces too. I know it's worse in online spaces because we're allowed to
Mm-hmm.
sit behind the screen and be like, "Oh, I can do this thing and I'm anonymous and there's no backlash to me, really." Right? Because I'm just
Right.
this little like anonymous figure. But like you need to that's still a person.
Yeah, it's still a person behind the screen, just like it's a person behind the costume. Um, I think that this is a good place. I'll put the link to CSSN in the description for anybody who needs it. Um,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, not really. I have a lot of angry thoughts from things that happen,
Angry thoughts.
but I have nothing constructive to add to this right now.
Okay. I think that there are a lot of people, and honestly, a lot of people, an overabundance of people who have, in some way, shape, or form, been harassed in cosplay and out of cosplay at conventions. And I think that we need to use our voice more. Make a scene. Tell con staff. The more attention that a person or a group of people get on them, the more likely that they're going to be kicked out of the con. Um,
Or at least amend their behavior.
or at least amend their behavior. Um, Absolutely report. And I know it's scary to do so. Take a friend with you. Like I said,
Yeah.
I am the temporary emergency mom friend. For anyone who has a problem at a con, Fox is the mom friend.
Yep.
um, and there's always a mom friend in the group, or alternatively, if you're alone, the cosplay community honestly is really like close. If you go up to someone else and be like, I really need your help, more likely than not, they're going to ask what's wrong.
Yeah.
And more likely than not, they'd be willing to help, especially if you've been harassed um, in any shape, way, or form, because most people in the community really care about that sort of thing.
And most people don't stand for it.
Yeah, most people don't tolerate it at all. So, we will be putting out a video on safety tips, the rules that we have seen for anti-harassment, and things of that nature, in a video in a couple days, in a few days, in a Saturday, I believe. And we're also going to be doing one for Halloween. Halloween tips and rules to keep yourself safe during All Hallows Eve, Samhain, Halloween, the spooky day, whatever you want to call it.
Spoopy season, and general like cosplay safety bits. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for your own safety, and I would rather that you never had to report something.
Absolutely.
I would rather that like you never got into trouble. Like all of these worst case scenarios. I would rather know that they exist and you just have to take my word for it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
We will see you guys on Saturday. Hopefully we'll have it on Saturday. Absolutely, yeah. We weren't late at all on this one.
Not at all.
Before Halloween.
We definitely didn't mess up last week's video.
We didn't. No, there were audio problems with that one that I was so livid about that I couldn't go back to do it again.
We'll try not to do that again.
Yeah.
I hope y'all have a good one, though.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.